music on, start doing it, then and fade the music out.
We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based the debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do it first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. We live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, and Chris Walker is in the building, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, broadcasting all over the world, but we're locally, Jimmy and I are locally here in Houston, and Chris Walker is in parts unknown. I'm going to let him tell you where he is. But let me tell you something, guys. I got something to start off with. This has got to be one of the most exciting weeks in all of sports. And let me tell you why. The caveat being, Chris, we have all of Sunday's games this weekend to talk about. We got the Monday night game to talk about. Then we got the start of the NBA season we got to talk about, and the beginning of the World Series. Y'all think about it. Tomorrow we start the NBA season and the World Series. And guess what? Okay, you can say what you want. Go on, Chris. I know you can.
Hold on. I'm upset right now. See, I don't know why we let you do the monologue on Sunday after the Cowboys play on Monday after the Cowboys play on Sunday night.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna petition to Jimmy. I should do the monologue when the Cowboys play on Sunday night and we tear the head off the E-Girls, not the Cowgirls, the E-Girls. Rick Whitmore, where you at? Todd Holmes, where you at? Anthony Weston, where you at? All you Cowboy haters, we took him, and once again, Dak Prescott dusted Carson Wentz, and he got all that money. Jerry Jones, pay the man. That's all I got to say. We did it in the big screen last night. I see you over there smiling, but in the big screen, last night in the big screen, it was a big butt whooping. Now I'll let you go back and do what you need to do, Hatter.
In the words of Jimmy Hicks, you finished?
I'm done. I'm done.
No, you finished. Dude.
And listen, just like Anthony Weston in the Chop House and the Yankees lost. Listen to me. The Yankees is a secondary team. I'm with God's team, the Cowboys. I'm with God's team, okay? Wow. Let's get that straight.
Wow.
I said it.
Now, you know what? One thing that was about this past weekend that was really a homecoming moment. And, of course, we're going to add and talk about a little bit of some other homecoming, the topic later on in the show about HBCUs and homecomings. But we got to see the Yankees fans versus side by side, because y'all were neck and neck in the race for the most obnoxious fans, the Yankees fans or the Cowboys fans. And I knew y'all were bad. You mean y'all, Chris, you, the Cowboys fans. I knew y'all were bad, but I just never paid y'all that type of mind because, you know, it's been so long, 20 plus years since the championship. But then I'm realizing, dude, y'all beat the 3-3, a team that was winless. I mean, that did not have a winning record.
Oh my God.
And y'all are ready to have a parade.
Oh my God.
Listen, a tornado
Oh,
came through the town last night.
You know why that tornado came through, Jimmy?
And y'all saying, damn, the tornado, that ain't even first story. The hell with the tornado. Y'all worry about the Cowboys winning.
You damn right. You damn right. Didn't nobody die last night. We good. All right. Only thing died last night was all them birds, all them eagles. Those are the ones that died. Them Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Anthony Weston? How about them Cowboys, Rick Whitmore?
Well, I don't know what
I'm
to say.
good today.
Ezekiel Elliott finally plays an above average football game from his perch. Finally, 111 yards, touchdown, 22 carries. That's roughly about 5 yards a carry. You know, so that's because normally the threshold for running back is 4 yards a carry. Anything below 4 yards a carry is you get into C minus D territory. So finally,
Oh my God.
Cooper. Finally, you got a game where this may be the only game this season. I'm going on the ledge to say that the Cowboys, they're big three, right? Prescott throws for over 225 yards. Elliott runs for over 100 yards, and Amari Cooper receives over 100 yards in the same game. And so
we had all our dudes, Jimmy. We had everybody. We had everybody. Everybody was healthy. When we have that well-oiled machine and we play in the big screen, it's going to be hard to beat us. I'm just telling you.
So you had everybody healthy. So did the Eagles have everybody?
I don't know. I don't care. How about that?
On Jackson.
Hold on.
Jackson didn't play.
You're right. But listen, make sure that counts when Amari Cooper don't play. But how about this? Doug Peterson is the one that guaranteed the win, Hatter. You didn't see Jason Garrett. He know he on the hot seat. It's so hot he can't even wear certain type of pants. That's how it was so hot. They showed his wife on TV last night. That's when you know you're in trouble. When you go to the RCS sports events and somebody put a camera on Sandra, you know it's a problem. Jimmy got some issues. They about to cut his water off. That's what I'm saying, Hatter.
So, you know what? Let's go and get this out the way right now. And the results, because I want to know who won between you and Hatter.
Come on.
And let's get out right now.
Let's go.
Let's get out the way right now. And so I got the scores on the screen.
Achoo!
And because I couldn't believe what Chris was saying, so I'm not gonna believe. I'm gonna declare.
What do you mean?
We're gonna see. On Thursday night, of course, the game was the Chiefs beat the Broncos 30-6, and in that game, Hatter had the Chiefs, right, and gave you 3 points, Chris. So Hatter wins that game.
Yeah,
right?
that was a bad bet, but anyway, I'll let him have that one.
Okay.
So
let's go. So Hatter up 1-0. Okay, let's go on Sunday. The Rams beat the Falcons 37-10, right? And Chris, you had the Rams in that one. You win that one, and you gave up 3 points. The Dirty Birds are officially garbage. I mean,
they're gonna fire the coach. He's done.
I mean, you understand? This was a former MVP just a couple of years ago.
Gave him all that bread too.
Gave him all that bread.
All that bread, Hatter. And they had Julio Jones.
Got a brand new stadium.
All that. And I mean, seriously, dude, the only thing that's bad about that, that's good about that, if you're a Falcon fan, you can look over to, there's a couple other teams that got quarterbacks that gave some bread too, and they put heavy promise on, and ain't busting the quarter as well. But anyway, next up, we had the Dolphins and the Bills, which the Buffalo Bills won 31-21. And we're just recapping the games from yesterday. And in that game, Chris, you had Buffalo, and you gave up 17 points. So how do you win that game?
Unbelievable.
How do you up 2-1? Next up,
Unbelievable.
Jacksonville 27, the Cincinnati Bengals 17. In that game, Hatter, you had Jacksonville and you gave up 3.5 points. Jacksonville win by 10. Hatter, you are up 3-1 right now. Chris, what the hell are you talking about that you was whooping the snot?
Hold on. Keep talking.
No, you keep talking. He get me. He gonna get me. He got me. Keep talking. That's why I ain't saying nothing. That's why I ain't saying nothing.
You know what? Hatter, I think Chris was not looking at the lines. He was looking at head to head.
Hey, man, that's 3-1. Keep going.
Okay. Next up, Minnesota Vikings 42-30 over the Detroit Lions. And in that particular game, Chris, you had Minnesota and gave up 1. So you win that one, Chris. And then
Keep going.
Next up, the Green Bay Packers 42-24.
The snot out of the Raiders.
Hatter, you had Green Bay, and you gave up 5. Hatter, you win now.
Man, that's a bad bet because of course they was gonna beat the crap out of them.
Man,
They cheating Green Bay. They cheating Green Bay. You know they cheating Green Bay.
Next up, the Texans
Unbelievable.
fall to the Colts again.
Goodness.
Jay, that boy Jacoby Brissett. Yo, how about this? Who's talking about Oliver Luck, Hatter?
No.
That's a story, Jimmy. Jimmy, is that
do
not
you
a
hear-
story?
Jimmy, do you
Who's
listen
talking
to-
about Oliver Luck?
Jimmy, are you listening to him? He called a man Kobe Brisket.
I said Jacoby Brissett.
You called him Kobe
Jacoby
Brisket last
Brissett.
week. You called him
Jimmy, the only
Brisket.
one I did not call it
You
Brisket.
did call the man a brisket. Yes, you did. Now, come on, Jimmy. Come on, man. Gosh.
Chris, you had the Colts and gave up 1, and Chris, you win that game.
Oh, what's the score now, Jimmy?
Huh?
What's the tally now?
I think it's
It's
I'm okay. I think it's
4-3.
4-3.
4-3.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Arizona Cardinals 27-21 over the Giants.
Wow.
And Chris, you're in New York. You fell for the okie doke that they tried to give you guys on your new little quarterback. Look.
No. I was betting the line. I do not like the Giants.
Jimmy, he got a nickname already, Danny Dimes.
He Danny Penny now. That's what he is now.
Who won that one? Me?
He Danny Penny. Now who won? Okay, that game, Hatter, you had Arizona. Chris gave you 3 points.
Yeah.
Hatter, you the winner on that one.
Yeah, they won. They won 27. They won. They won by touchdown. They won by touchdown.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing that's better. That's more impressive in that game.
What?
And once again, and I was listening really closely this morning and reading, and I understand Kyler Murray didn't have a great game. From the stance of a quarterback, he only threw for 104 yards, guys, but he got a W. His offense put up 27 points, and he only threw for 104 yards, 14 for 27, no interceptions though.
Hey man,
and
come on, man.
Going on
104 yards in the NFL, Jimmy.
Yeah, but he got a
Get out of
W
here.
on the road.
That means the Giants are terrible. Then that's what they mean. The Giants are terrible. I'm sorry.
Okay, but this is a rookie quarterback that's being thrust into that. Both of them understand. So I'm saying that Kyler Murray has won 3 straight games. How many games in a row Cowboys won?
One. What do you mean?
One in a row. I'm trying to make sure.
One spectacular game against the. Listen, don't even bring up the Cardinals, man. We're not going to even talk about them guys in November. So let's stop after Thanksgiving. You won't hear nothing else about the Cardinals. Let's stay on message here, Jimmy, because I want you to get to that game that was played last night at 8:20 Eastern. Okay, that's what I want you to do.
No, hold on now.
Come on.
In this next up, we got the Washington Redskins were shut out by the San Francisco 49ers 9-0. And in that particular game, Hatter, you had Frisco, and you gave up 9.5.
Ooh, you
wow.
Son. Wow.
Chris, you take the win by a half point. Boy, that is some garbage right there. How about Tennessee Titans 23-20 over the San Diego
Mariota done. Mariota is done. I'm telling you.
LA Chargers at this now.
Who won now?
And of course, Chris had the Chargers and +2.
Oh.
The Titans won by 3.
Oh my goodness.
You had the Titans in 3. How do you get the W? And I was getting back by a half point. That same half point came back to fight Chris in the butt. Guys, you see this stuff? I understand. Next up, the Saints 36-25 over the Chicago Bears.
Who that?
How you had the Saints?
Yes, sir.
And you had a +3.
Yes, sir.
How do you win now?
Who that talk about?
Hey, MS question. Why they bringing back Drew Brees? Teddy 5-0. What we need Drew Brees for?
No, because you
Hey,
paying
quit
it.
hate.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm just asking.
hey,
I'm
quit
just
hating.
asking. Why we
Okay.
need him?
Okay.
Because you paying it. You trust me.
Drew Brees
You're gonna
5-0.
You're
So
gonna need.
hold up. So let me ask you a question. Is Cam Newton coming back? Because Kyle Allen hasn't lost. Set you up with that one now.
You ain't set me up.
Look at Jimmy.
Cam Newton
Is Cam Newton? So are they gonna start Cal Newton because Kyle Allen hasn't lost either?
Hey,
Well, you know what? You know how they normally do. Cam Newton has earned
Really?
the right to be inserted back in the starting
yeah,
lineup.
Because he's won a Super Bowl. Right?
No, he's been
He
to
hasn't
the
thrown a
Super Bowl.
touchdown in like 5 years.
But quit. Let me
Guess
help him
what?
out,
And just
Jimmy.
like
Jimmy.
Uh-huh.
He's an MVP. Once an MVP of the whole
Man,
league,
please.
you get that respect. Come on,
You
Chris.
get that.
Chris.
Cam is done, man.
Hey, Chris.
Cam is done.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor. Since Chris talking crazy, I'm finna go. Jimmy, get right back. But go to YouTube, type in LSU versus Villanova.
Oh,
in
my
1990.
goodness. That's tomorrow.
No,
That's
okay.
tomorrow.
No, but I want them to be prepared for tomorrow. But come on, Jimmy. What's the next one?
I'm going to get you, boy.
Say next
I'm gonna
up,
get you,
the
guys.
Baltimore Ravens 30-16 over the Seahawks. Wow. How about, man, Lamar Jackson does it again.
Hey,
Best
man.
running back in the game. I keep telling y'all.
Hey, man.
He said-
Did you see what he said to the coach? It was 4th and 2. The coach came over there and asked him, what you want to do, Lamar? He said, let's go for it, coach. Coach trusted him. Jimmy, remember what I just said with those words. The coach trusted him. Coach, later on, I got some Jalen Ramsey news for y'all.
Oh, please do, because I
About
got
trust.
something for
But
you, too.
Come on, Jimmy. Let's go. Come on.
And of course, Nate, and in that game, of course, Chris Gate had Baltimore +3. How you took Sierra?
Yeah. Y'all love Sierra.
Sierra
Yeah,
You know I love her.
got the snot beat out of him.
in that one, and you
So
take
Chris
the L
won
on that
now.
one. And
Okay.
Next up,
What's the tally? Hold on. What's the tally?
It's
Jimmy?
7-5.
No.
Next up
75.
is Philadelphia and Dallas.
Oh.
You had the Cowboys, and you gave up 3, and you win that one, of course. So that now the final tally going in. We may need Monday Night Football to decide this one.
No,
So here, as it stands,
oh,
I have had it with
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
And he got.
and Chris have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I beat the brakes off.
Ooh, no, we need Monday Night Football.
Monday
Man,
Night
we don't
Football.
need it, Chris.
Hey, we'll say that to the end.
Say
Oh,
it
for
to
the
the end.
time. You
Who's
said for
picking
the
it though?
time.
Because the
Okay.
Patriots, who the
Okay.
Patriots play?
Okay.
It's the Patriots and who?
Yeah, you know it's my
The
pick.
Patriots are at the New England Jets, and they're giving up 9.
New York Jets here in town. New York Jets.
New York Jets.
Yeah, you know
Uh-oh.
it's my pick too. Yeah. Okay.
So now what we'll do is we'll save that to the
Yeah,
second
save
hour
it to
of
the
the
end.
show.
Yeah, save
And we'll
it to
let
the
you guys, the fans, who do you guys think is going to win this week's match? I don't, Chris, you guys watch it down there, laugh now. We go, and of course, Anissa says before y'all even begin to talk NFL, I want to ask Jimmy, how about them Southern Jaguars?
What they do?
What they do?
They had a game. They had a
What they
game.
do?
Anissa,
What they do?
Southern barely beat TSU this
What?
weekend by a touchdown, by 1 touchdown.
Not Fob. Wait a minute. Ain't that Fob's team? Ain't that Fob's school?
They barely beat TSU. Remember, I told you 28-21 in the Cotton Bowl. Barely beat TSU. And once again, see, this is what I'm wondering. In the SWAC, the Southern fans are the equivalent to the Dallas Cowboy fans.
Ooh, I like Southern already.
Right. Yeah, I'm
I like the dancing dogs.
formulating what's going on.
Yeah.
You beat TSU by a touchdown, and you ready to have a parade.
I love a
Whoa,
parade.
whoa. What you trying to say about the Cowboy fans? Hold on now.
You Cowboy fans, you
Y'all
beat
the
a
worst.
team that did not have a winning record, and you guys are
They
ready.
were 3 and
Good
3.
work.
What are you talking about?
That's not a
It's
winning
our rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. And by the way, we 3-0 in our division. We're gonna win. Hey, Dak, get your money, Dak. Get your money, Dak. Y'all see that catch Amari Cooper got? Y'all see that one catch Amari Cooper had? Oh my God, you gotta love the Cowboys. We got our weapons. Jimmy,
Hey.
when we got our weapons, we like Iron Man. We got all kind of gadgets.
Hey,
We
Chris.
like Batman with the utility. Hey, we got our weapons, Hannah. We like Batman. We like Batman with utility belt. We got everything, baby.
Well, and you know
How
what?
about them Cowboys?
And you are for real too. That's them talking. See, that's what I'm saying. And then when they lose, see now,
Something wrong with that dude.
who the
right?
Cowboys have next week? Who does the Cowboys
It's
have?
gonna be a dub because we healthy.
You know what? I don't even keep up with that team. That's not a team that I even keep up with, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
And now,
Hatter, you used to be a Cowboy fan when you were a kid. I told you, Jimmy. Once a let me tell you something. If I had this Jimmy right now, and ask Jimmy, does he remember in the 70s when he used to strike out all the time at Smokey Jasper, all the famous Cowboys players, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Robert Newhouse, Roger Staubach. Do I need to keep going? He already know. Jimmy know Everson Walls. Come on, Jimmy. You can't name no I'm sorry. You can't name no Oilers because y'all took our name because we used to be the Dallas Texans back in the day. So y'all took our name, Hatter. Now you're the Houston Texans. You our cousin. Like they said in 5 Heartbeats. Oh, them just our cousins over there. Come on, man. Come on, Jimmy. Them just our cousins down there, baby. What you got? Hey, listen, man. I got to shift gears. Somebody showed me something. I almost fell out. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
First of all, I sent y'all that deal on Charles Payne from Fox. Did you watch it? Did you watch the thing on Charles Payne, the brother on Fox? Absolutely ridiculous. I wish we could share that on the Facebook feed so people can see what the hell is going on out there, so they can understand a few things that this dude is saying. Second of all, we definitely need to boycott that show. Did y'all see Antonio Brown on the shop? Oh my God.
No, I didn't see that.
I can't.
See it.
Listen, I'm done with him. I'm with Jimmy now, Hatter. I'm done with him. But here's an interesting thing, Jimmy. Why have they not interviewed him yet, Hatter? Why hasn't the NFL interviewed Antonio Brown? I don't understand. Hatter, you know these matters better than me. You've been in the business forever.
No.
Why haven't they interviewed him?
I'm not an expert at these matters because my players don't get in trouble like that. So
you know what I mean, though.
No. But I'm just serious. They don't get in trouble like that. But Chris, it's that's a unique situation. I don't know what's going on with it, and you know, see. When you're dealing with a situation like that, when Roger Goodell is like the dictator, I mean, you know, he's the judge, the jury, and the executioner. You know, it's at the NFL and on discretion whether they want it. I don't know the reason. I haven't looked it up because me personally, Antonio Brown is old news to me. You know, until he started back playing sports, until I find out what he did to this girl from Memphis, Tennessee, he's old news to me. Because if we find out that those rape allegations were true, then I'm done with him. I'm done with him.
Hatter, here's my thing. If he was playing, it'd be all over the news.
That's different.
They'd be trying to pursue him like crazy. But I'm just asking, like, I'm not trying to accuse or I'm just trying to figure out why is it not news?
Chris, when you
why
retire,
are they not going after it?
In this world, Chris, it's what you've done for me. Like, he's not news anymore to them. That's why they're not recruiting. He had to go in the shop. Hey, he's not news, Chris, anymore. He's not news. If you're not catching touchdown, you're not news.
So let me ask you a question. So if Antonio Brown was not playing in the NFL, that girl wouldn't have filed charges then?
What you mean?
I'm just asking. She probably wouldn't have filed charges because he's not news and she can't get money from him.
That ain't got nothing. Come on, man.
I'm just asking.
Chris. Chris, use that excellent Villanova education and listen. I saw where, Chris, I see why you cut your hair off. Oh, my God. Because you were 16, 17 years old, and your hairline was worse than LeBron.
There you go, Jimmy. See, there you go, Jimmy.
I see why you like LeBron. But, Chris, let me interrupt this. Guess who's on this Facebook feed?
Who?
One of Houston's finest, a legend, a Hall of Famer in my book. Keenan McCardell is on the Facebook feed right now.
Oh, Keenan.
Hold on.
Keenan played for the Panthers, didn't he?
Yes.
Can Keenan answer that question? Tell him to man up.
Played for Wall Trip.
He played for Wall Trip?
Yes.
The Rams? Oh, we probably beat them by 1,000. But Keenan, tell Keenan to answer the question, Hatter. Tell him to come on out of the closet. Is Cam Newton going to be the starting quarterback? Because the boy that's playing ahead of ain't lost a game, and Cam ain't thrown a touchdown in like 7 games.
I don't think you heard what you said. Keenan played for Jacksonville, not for Carolina.
That's what I thought. I asked you if he played for Carolina, so he played for Jacksonville. Tell him to still answer the question. I don't care.
Okay.
Oh, he played for who?
Jacksonville.
He played. Can we talk about that Jalen Ramsey thing? Because the owner came out and said,
to talk about Jalen Ramsey.
Wasn't nothing wrong with him, Jimmy? Wasn't it? They said the doctor said what, Jimmy? I let Jimmy have that one. They said wasn't nothing wrong with his back, right, Jimmy? And all of a sudden he was miraculously healed the next week in Los Angeles. Wow.
Well, you remember now, the back is the most difficult thing to diagnose as far as on the body. So he went with back, and guess what? They knew what time it was. I don't feel sorry for either side in that equation. Talking about the Jacksonville and the Ramsey situation. You know why? Because the owners, came out publicly, and one of the things we know the players are prone to do so, but when the front office leak their business into the public, as Jacksonville did, I didn't feel sorry at that moment, because that's exactly what they did. They went and leaked this stuff out just purposely. And then went out purposely and said, we ain't trading it. We don't care what y'all offer. At that moment, the gloves were off.
What?
So Ramsey said, you know what? My back hurting. Matter of fact, my back hurting again. And then they realized at that point, when he did not play in week 6, I guess, and then the owner went ahead and said, you know what, man, look, we ain't going to be, we losing money right now. Let's go and play the business, because sooner or later, the front office, and especially an owner, the pockets are going to be president. They're going to be primary. I'm sorry. And that's what happened with Jacksonville.
I got something
for
you. Chris,
go on.
Can I give him? I mean, if you want, you can go give your take, because I got something I want you to take a look at.
I wanted to say this because I was going somewhere, but is it a tactic by the owners to say we're not trading him when they know that at the end of the day they're trying to get more from the other team?
Yes.
When they know that all I'm trying to do is get these dudes to give up more.
There
tactic. You go.
But you know what I learned? Because Jalen had this Sunday, he sit down with a 101 with Ryan Clark. Great interview. If you can go back and pick it up. But what I got out of that interview was 2 words: disrespect and respect. And I'm gonna help you out, Chris Walker. Just because you're in a position of power doesn't mean you're right.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
It's amazing how everything that was presented, that Jalen was wrong, because we got a guy that's got I can do all things hat. Crucified Jalen every single day on this show.
Jimmy?
His name started with Chris Walker. But it's amazing how everything that was presented, Jalen was wrong. Well, maybe not. If he felt disrespected, that's the number one problem. Let me show you something. I can understand if I'm disrespected and I'm a player in this industry. I mean, the players in this era. I can understand if I'm disrespected how my back might tighten up, Jimmy. To me, shame on Jacksonville. I think they dislike that kid. Hold up, Chris. It got personal. They may not have meant it that way, but the kid took it personal. He's a prideful kid. They got Tom Coughlin, that old school coaching, treating everybody the same, Chris. It just don't work no more. Chris, you have to manage personalities now. The best head coaches know how to manage personalities. This kid said in the Houston game, when Chris so eloquently jumped on the kid, he talking crazy to the coach. He talking back to the coach. Jimmy, you remember a word I mentioned, y'all? I said, bookmark this word, trust, a minute ago. In the Houston game, he played against one of the best wide receivers in the league. D-Hop. D-Hop was getting having his way with him, and he felt that he made a play and felt that Hopkins did not catch the ball. He asked Marrone, Jimmy, to challenge the play. Marrone didn't challenge the play. He said he didn't trust him enough to throw the flag. I'm an all-pro player.
Trust?
Listen, Chris,
Oh,
Chris,
God.
I'm an all-pro player. I'm gonna show you what trust means. Yesterday, what's the kid name? The quarterback for the Ravens. What's his name? Lamar Jackson. Let me help you out. Hold on, Chris Walker. Look at this parallel. The coach looked at Harbaugh looked at Lamar and said, "Lamar, you want to go for it?" He said, "Heck yes, coach. Let's go for it." Guess what? The coach trusted. Hold up. It was 4th and 2. All Jalen Ramsey asked this clown Marone to do, excuse me, Keenan, if that's your boss, Maine challenged the play. All we lose is a timeout. So hold on.
All we lose is a timeout.
Yeah, Chris. Okay, Chris. I got another part to this. They had new front office people before he got. They had it Coughlin and another guy. So when they had a meeting, Chris, check this out, Jimmy. Jimmy, connect the dots with this one for me. They called a meeting that Monday about what happened on the field with him and Marone, with Jalen Ramsey and Marone. But they had a meeting with 4 executives. Marone wasn't in the meeting, Jimmy. The 4 executives, 2 of me don't like and 2 of me respect, in the meeting, talking crazy and disrespectful to him in the meeting. He said he didn't talk much in this meeting because he saw what it was. 'Cause when he saw the coach who I had, he said, me and Marone, cool. But they brought in 3 white guys, older white guys, to sit up here and think they can talk crazy to this new young guy who pulled up to training camp in a Brinks truck, and you think they're going to talk crazy to him? Wasn't going to happen. He said the tone, the way they were talking to me was very disrespectful. And I just didn't want to be. I called my agent immediately after that meeting and said, I don't want to be here. That's the way you're supposed to do it, Chris Walker. Now,
man, we don't know what was said, man. We don't know what was said.
I believe him.
We're taking his word that he was being disrespected. They could have just said, look, man, we're paying you, get on the field. Man, that's disrespectful. No. We don't know what was said in that meeting. No. That's all I'm saying.
The kid love to play too much, man. You don't know nothing about this kid.
It don't matter. I don't know what was said in the meeting.
You just go by what them folks put on TV. Them other folks put on TV. So soon as they put something on that TV about you, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna defend you.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I'm gonna defend you.
You better
first.
defend me.
I'm gonna defend you.
I'm
gonna defend you.
You better defend me.
If they do something about Jimmy on that TV, I'm gonna defend him.
We gonna chop him up. I'm gonna chop him up.
But I just like to add that.
Go ahead on, man.
No, because a lot of people just run with the narrative because they saw him get up off the bench and being disrespectful supposedly to the coach. But all he did is said, man, trust me enough to throw that flag.
Hey, that's all. He ain't got to do that, man. You know what? Tell him to act better. Maybe you'll trust him if he act better. Got better respect.
Guess where he at right now? He out there on a yacht right now on the Catalina Islands because it's his off day today. He resting that back on a yacht, him and LeBron. So how about that?
It's just a bad sick egg. When guys don't get what they want, they act like that. No, it's just. You know what? Chris. I hope you're not coaching a summer team or a high school team or a college team, because you know what they're gonna say? Chris. My back hurt, Jimmy.
Chris.
My back hurt.
Chris.
I'm gonna do what Jalen Ramsey did. The coach disrespected me and told me to do this, so my back hurt.
Chris, I'm gonna put something in there because I know you had your head down and was in texting, and I know you weren't paying attention. In this era, you have to learn how to manage these players. You got to be able to manage. You got to be able to coach. You got to be able to manage player. You're a coach. I know you understand this industry is different. You got to manage these guys.
I understand that. We can talk about managing, but at the end of the day, they're a part of a team. They don't play golf. Mm-hmm. They don't play tennis. Mm-hmm. They're part of a team. So I agree. Justice is not a one-size-fits-all way of looking at things. But at the end of the day, we saw what happened with Bryce Harper. They eliminated him, and guess what happened? They're in the World Series right now. That's all I'm saying.
In the words of Todd Holmes, Chris sounding 45-ish. What you got, Jimmy?
Oh my goodness.
But definitely speaking of clutch, I want to definitely recap on Saturday. The Houston Astros I forgot to wear my black. I promised to wear black today.
Because you ain't a true fan. That's why.
Black.
Funeral for the funeral service. Well, Halle got his black on for the funeral services of the New York Yankees. You know, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Oh my God.
That's a wedding, Jimmy.
I mean, dude, let me tell you something.
He said, dearly beloved.
Altuve. One thing I like it is when, remember, after 2017, the Astros had to pay him, right? After we won the World Series. And they did rightfully so. They paid Altuve. And then but a lot of times in Houston, once we give a guy a bag, a lot of times their productivity will start to dip a little bit.
Name one dude. We gave him a bag.
Foster.
Ooh.
That's one. I can name you plenty.
Name it. No. Who was again?
Who did you say, Jimmy?
Arian Foster.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Well, we gave him that bag. He opened up a gym. You're right about that. Keep going.
Oh, David Carr.
Ooh. Who's the other quarterback we gave that bag to? It didn't work out. He just retired the other day.
No.
From Denver.
Osweiler.
Oh my God.
Get a bag.
Bag.
Hell, what about the beer? The beer, the other beer.
Oh, Dallas.
To my Keiko?
Keiko.
Yes.
We gave him a bag. He started growing his beard and thought he was the equivalent of James Harden.
Somebody said Kevin Cato.
Oh, that was the original. No, hey, Matt Maloney and Kevin Cato.
Ooh, Matt Maloney. Hatter, you must have did that deal, Hatter. Hatter, you did that deal.
Jimmy, what y'all don't understand, man, when the timing is right, you get the deal. You get the deal. I don't think those guys, I think you put a target on those kids back when they get those deals. I don't think the guys wasn't good in the first place. Y'all just gave them too much money in the first place. I think that was the problem. You follow me? I think the guys just I mean, Matt Maloney had a great year. They didn't want to pay Sam
Maloney?
Yes, and they gave him the money instead of Sam.
Man.
Unbelievable. That was the dumbest move in Rockets history.
Hold on. Wasn't Sam Cassell still there when Matt Maloney played?
Yeah, Sam left the next year because he said, man, y'all ain't paying me. Get me out of here.
Exactly. They paid Matt Maloney and didn't pay Sam Cassell.
Yes, sir. Yes,
oh,
sir.
my goodness.
Yes.
I mean,
now, Jimmy, get back to Altuve, man.
That was outstanding. I mean, just unbelievable as far as rock. We talking about, but anyway,
Altuve.
The Astros, man, Altuve comes through in the clutch, man, with a series clinching victory over the Yankees, so now World Series is set. Astros and the Washington Nationals. Game 1 will take place on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time in Houston. Garrett Cole will be on the mound as predicted.
Why, Jimmy? Why are they playing the first game of the World Series the same day as the first day of the NBA? They couldn't move that back a day or make it Monday?
No, understand one thing. Chris, there's only 2 games in the NBA.
But the Lakers Clippers, what time is that game?
West Coast time. So what time do you think it's going to start?
What time is the Houston game?
7 o'clock.
What time is the Clipper game?
9 o'clock.
All right, that's right then. Okay, cool.
Hey, Jimmy, keep talking. Don't pay no attention to him.
I'm just saying.
Dude, these people aren't crazy. They scheduled. That means now you come home on a Tuesday, you're going to have nothing to watch. You got a good evening of sports.
There you
Jimmy,
go.
I cannot believe what Hatter got on the screen right now. Don't look at the screen, Jimmy. Whatever you do, don't look at the screen. Jimmy, don't look at the screen, Jimmy. What's wrong with this dude, man? Come on, man. Don't look at the screen. What you saying, Jimmy? God,
I got my people with me. With me.
Hey,
huh?
You got your crew with you?
That's my crew, man.
Oh, man. Hey, man. Now, guess what? Speaking of, but first I'm going to get to talking about this baseball. I'm still not comfortable with Jordan Alvarez and his productivity last series. But at the same time, that was a difference, I think, on social media. I think one of the guys, Dane Irvin, came and questioned me about the meaning of choke. My old saying is, there's no such thing in a bad game. I'm sorry. There's no such thing as a bad game in the big game. And
why don't you explain that? Explain what you mean by that.
Once again, there's no such thing as a bad game in the big game.
What do you mean, though? So what do you mean?
That means, let's say, for example, Verlander was on the mound in game 5, right? Verlander lost the game got wrecked in the first inning, gave up 4 runs, that eventually being the final score, the final tally for the Yankees 4-1. Well, here's what this means. A lot of people say, well, Verlander choked. In the meaning of my statement, that was game 5 for the Astros. That was game 7 for the Yankees. When you lose and you still live to see another day in the confines of that series, that means you didn't, that's not the same equivalent of the choke. The choke is in the game, the big game, the game for which if you lose, your season is over. If you lose, you are eliminated if it's a tournament, for say. So in this situation, game 6 was game 6 for the Astros. But game 6 in Houston was game 7, the equivalent to game 7 for the Yankees.
So the Yankees had 3 game 7s, is basically what you're saying.
They would have. So that means you could not afford to lose, to make a blunder, which contributes to the loss. Well, the Astros, guess what? In this situation, I said the starting pitcher the reliever, Chapman, he's the guy that choked for the Yankees for the most part. Now, the team, of course, you can roll them up in one, light them, smoke them, do what you want to do with them. But Chapman is the culprit because he's the guy who gave up the dinger, a 2-run homer to Altuve to close out and eliminate their season. That's now the ultimate guy for me who gets the choke is the head coach, Aaron Boone. I said it from the first game. He took a lot of gunslinging. He made a lot of gunslinging decisions that if you don't win the series, is going to come back and bite you in several occasions. He the one decided to make everybody believe the narrative that he gonna roll with his bullpen. This bullpen is dominant. We're gonna roll through, and we got so many arms.
That was psychological warfare, Jimmy. Okay. He knew they had better pitching than us. That was psychological warfare. He knew it.
So
he didn't have a horse. So he's trying to create a narrative to throw some scare in the other dugout, and it didn't work. And then, Jimmy, mind you, it took 2 walk-off home runs to beat the Yankees, Carrera and Altuve in the 9th at home. It ain't like you blew the Yankees out. It took 2 walk-off home runs, 2 to beat us.
So, you know what? Jamie, talking about blowing somebody out. So that now you counting points.
I'm just saying it wasn't like it was. I mean, at the end of the day, it took you had to take down a monster, man.
At one point,
you didn't just hold up. You didn't do what St. Louis did. What Washington did to St. Louis. That was embarrassing.
Chris, a buzzer beater is a win. Chris, I can't stand folks who talk like that. But you know what I found out, Chris, about Altuve and Jimmy, what I love about him? I remember somebody told a story about Astro scout. They sent Altuve home a long time ago, cut him at a tryout in Venezuela. They say he was too short. They didn't believe he was 16 years old. You remember this story, Jimmy? He came back the next day. He came back the next day, and they said, man, we cut you. He said, no, you didn't see me play, though. He said, you need to give me a chance. He brought his birth certificate with him. That's the power of human spirit. Man, that young dude there, and you know what else I liked about him last? Did y'all see when he ran off, Chris? I know you probably turned the TV off or kicked your TV. But, Jimmy, he had his shirt like this, grabbed, so they wouldn't tear it off like they did last year. Guess why? They asked him why. He said, my wife didn't like that. She don't want them gals to see that six-pack. His wife didn't like him tearing off his shirt and the women seeing his chest. He said, I can't do that no more. I kind of like that. That was kind of cool. Hey, man, listen, man. I'm not trying to listen to Astros. I'm going to the World Series. That's a train ride for me. So I'll see y'all down there. But I might even come to one in Houston if Hatter can get some tickets like he couldn't get me last time.
like
Chris,
he couldn't get
Chris,
me
I
last
can't
time.
get nobody else no ticket. They give me tickets. You got to come with me. You
What
can't tell me to go
what
get
Jay-Z
tickets
say?
from Buddill and all of them. The people ain't gonna leave it in their name, Chris. I got to go
What
with you.
Jay-Z say? Jay-Z say, I look at a dude at what he do with his friends, not what he do for himself. That's what
but you
Jay-Z
gotta
said,
go
right?
with me. Hey, bring your whole family when you come down here. I'll bring
That's
all
what
y'all
I'm
in
saying.
there. Well, hey, guess what
Y'all
we
need to
gonna
come,
see?
hey, y'all need to come to Dallas and come to Arlington. That's where y'all need to come. Give me tickets there, Hatter.
Man, I don't want to see that mess.
In Arlington,
For what?
the big screen.
I got
The
a
big
better
screen.
team. I
Come
got
on,
a better
man.
team out here on Fannin and Kirby.
Listen, man. Listen, I want to jump back on the NFL just for 1 second and let Hatter comment on this. Kaepernick.
Man, that was you just said,
Kaepernick.
Jimmy.
that was a fake cry, a fake rally cry
Yeah.
from an owner.
Yeah.
That you guys, some of you guys may have failed for that
Don't
bait.
go for that, y'all.
Because all you gotta do is pay attention. He came right back 48 hours later and said, we're gonna roll with what we got.
Don't
That
go
was
for that.
a fake rally
Don't
cry
go for
to
that,
make
man.
people think
Don't
that
go
this
for
man is gonna roll with and go and give Colin Kaepernick a tryout or a chance. And the thing that's so funny that proves that Colin Kaepernick is indeed good enough. I'm gonna tell you one of the things, and I'm gonna say it real quick, Had
Okay, go.
that if they knew he wasn't good enough, they would easily bring him in because then they can show the world that you can't get it done. This dude working out every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and word is seeping back. Hey man, this dude still got it. And understand, if there was you, Chris, they'll bring your ass in for a workout tomorrow and let you throw that ball clean over the plate, over everybody's head like you did me when I was on second base. We played Little League baseball, and I can catch nothing. Everybody's running. They still first.
Hey, Jimmy, I got something to add to that. I thought about something the other day. Chris Walker, you work for CBS, right?
Yep.
Okay, you're going to do, in case y'all don't know, watch some of these games around the country. Chris, I got a chance to see him at work, up close and personal. He called one of the U of H games. One of the
last U of H game at Hoffa. Is that the one we went to, Hatter? The last
game at Hoffa. You're right. And I promise y'all, I kid him, but he's excellent in that capacity. But, Chris, if you sue CBS and win a judgment against CBS, do you think they gonna have your black butt coming up there announcing some games again?
Listen, they barely got me coming now. So what you talking about?
Okay. So when you talk about the Kaepernick stuff, Kaepernick, y'all talking about hold up. Y'all talking about he didn't get paid. He didn't have a right. Kaepernick got paid. That's why he ain't told y'all how much he got.
But Hatter,
he told.
I think the reason why they didn't bring him back is because the prognosis on Mahomes' injury was not as bad as they thought.
Chris, they wasn't going
48 hours later.
Chris, they wasn't going. Chris, you didn't hit. Chris, sometimes.
Jimmy,
what's your favorite word, Jimmy?
Hatter.
It's a difference between listening and hearing.
If they said Mahomes had a torn ACL and was out for the year, then what would the narrative been?
Hatter, it's a difference between listening and hearing. Chris,
I'm just saying.
If you sue CBS as talented, I gave you, you're just as good as Kaepernick to me. You're talented. I watch you work. You're good talking Walker. That's your nickname.
No.
You're excellent. You got your little crew. You got your little partner there next to you. I mean, Jimmy, you got to see him. Y'all got to see him in that. Chris, as good as you were, you sue CBS. They're not going to bring you back. I don't care how good you are.
But I can go to Fox.
Okay, the XFL, hold up. The XFL just had their draft, Jimmy. And the Houston Roughnecks, they got a team. Tell them to come play for the Roughnecks.
Nah, they ain't got enough money. He got more money than that whole team. Hatter, I don't want to tell people who's going to be the GM of the Roughnecks and turn them down. Don't get me started.
Who's going to be the GM?
Don't get his name started with Robert Hatter.
I hate him, man. You snitch too much.
Hatter's going to be the GM of the Roughnecks?
He's going to be the GM of the Roughnecks.
Wow.
I can't stand that dude right
And
there,
I'm mad
man.
at him because I wanted field passes. I was going to be his assistant. He turned it down.
If that's the case, hey, if Hell in the GM, that means Vincent Young gonna be the quarterback.
Oh,
Hey, man. Hey, man, y'all, I can't stand that dude over there. That man, I ain't telling him nothing. He don't get a chance to listen to no conference calls no more. Wow. Unbelievable.
Hey, Jimmy, we got a shout out. Y'all sent me something about St. Mark's campus. What happened in Dallas at St. Mark's campus?
Yes, the tornado took a direct hit at St. and through Dallas last night. If you just guys that are living outside of the state didn't pay attention, and one of the local high schools took a direct hit of the tornado, and their gymnasium was totally destroyed. And that's St. Mark's High School, which is located in Dallas, and this high school features one of the top, I think he's in the top 60 or top 50 in the country, 2011 prospects, Harrison Ingram. School season's about to start. Practice start for high schools next Wednesday.
Jimmy, I just put a pic up.
This Wednesday.
Jimmy, I just put a pic up of the devastation of the school. I hope they can see it. I put it up on the screen. It'll come up. That's one of the pictures. I just want to let people know that's the devastation that happened to the school. Now you can keep going.
Yeah, and that's as you're looking, that's the actual gymnasium of what used to be.
Damn.
Gymnasium is on the screen right now at St. Mark's High School in Dallas after the tornado swept through and last night. No casualties, and that's thankful news for everyone. But now the rebuilding process, because once again, this school, they're set to have girls basketball season has started practice, and now boys basketball season will be engaging in practice as well. So now their home games, volleyball season is in effect already right now. This is, it's not the end of the world, but just letting you know for the sport, the relation to sports. And that's another picture that Hal has put up of the school buses. That means that's another thing, obstacle that they may have to overcome. And I'm quite sure, trust me, in times of such, I'm sure a neighboring school or district or church will lend hands and loan their resources to St. Mark's School to get through this and power through this, so far as the school buses and whatnot. But that's what happened in Dallas last night. So now, it's time, NBA news, guys.
What you got?
The season starts officially on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the late game will be the Lakers versus the Clippers. And Kyle Kuzma has been ruled out of that game. So that takes away the fizz and gives the Lakers, Lakers a built-in.
We got the best dude on the planet. What you talking about?
Hold on. Does that give the Lakers a built-in excuse for Kyle Kuzma not being available?
Come on, Jimmy. You're killing me right now.
Dude,
we got the best dude on the planet. What are you talking about? Kyle Kuzma?
You're the same guy that just said that the Dallas Cowboys had all 8 players.
But that's a different deal.
So now, it's different now.
Now LeBron worth like 4 players. Dak ain't that good. Dak is not Aaron Rodgers.
Well, how
Dak is not Tom Brady.
How many is the Claw worth?
Yeah, he all right.
How many players is the Claw?
I like the Claw, but he's not LeBron. I like him, but he's not LeBron.
He's not LeBron.
He might be worth 2, but LeBron worth 4. What? Trust me. I like LeBron. I like the Claw, but he's not LeBron, guys. Let's stop that.
Let's
stop that.
No, are you talking about him right now, or are you talking about his career?
His numbers were better than. Hey, look, his numbers. Hold up, his numbers were better than Kawhi's last year, and he was injured.
Yeah.
And he was in the West.
Kawhi was injured as well last year.
Kawhi wasn't injured, man. You gotta come on, man. Kawhi wasn't injured, man. He was Jalen Ramsey in that situation. Come on, man.
No, that's what the Spurs. Chris.
Oh, so Kawhi, just like Jalen Ramsey, he did that with the Spurs. Oh, man.
Kawhi actually injured. They had documentation on his. He just didn't want to come back when they wanted him to come back. And that was the thing with the Spurs. But so once again, that game is on tomorrow, on Tuesday. That is the Lakers and the Clippers. The first game will be Toronto Raptors will visit the Pelicans. There's no Zion. Does that Do you still watch that first game?
Zion need to lose some weight, man. He need to lose some weight. I'm going on record. He need to lose some weight. He's too heavy on that knee, man. He's got to get in better shape, in my opinion. I don't know what Hatter thinks. I don't know what you think, but I've heard several people, I'm not going to say what shoe brand, it starts with an N though, that says that he's too big. He's too big. He needs to lose weight. So I just think he needs to get in better shape if he wants to protect that knee. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I agree.
So he was heavy when they drafted him.
I understand that, but you can get in better shape when you get to the league. If you look at Steve Nash's body when Steve Nash came to the NBA and look at Steve Nash's body when he played in the NBA, he looks like a completely different person. And a lot of people are like that because think about it, Jimmy. He only played at Duke for like 6 months. Mm-hmm. He only did 6 months there. And they don't have the same regiment or training or chefs where Duke may have it. I don't know about everybody else that these guys in the league have. They got personal chefs. They got personal everything. Right, Hatter? Yes, I'm assuming. So It's a whole I just think that he needs to devote himself to getting in better shape because this is the second time now he's been injured. Like that stuff don't end.
And I hate to say this, y'all, but guess what? Don't be surprised if he don't play at all this year.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Don't say that.
No, I just said don't be surprised. That's all. Don't be surprised. That's all.
You know what that means, Jimmy? You know what that means, Hatter? Yeah. Alvin Gentry gonna get what they call that dude on the Apollo? Sandman gonna come out.
Guess what happened?
He'll be the John Lucas of New Orleans. Remember
Think about this, Chris. Think about this, Jimmy. Embiid did it. Ben Simmons did it. His president's here. Get this kid well, man. If this kid ain't well, and Chris talking about his knee and his meniscus tear because he got all of this torque and this poundage coming down on that knee every time. His knee was already hurt at Duke. His knee was hurt this summer. If you remember, they had a game. He played a few minutes, and he was out of the summer league game that was sold out. So all I'm just saying, just brace for it, and if he don't play.
But don't you think that this dude has been set up differently than Ben Simmons was? Everybody know Ben Simmons was good. This dude is said to be the second coming of Mufasa. Mm-hmm. It's a whole, and on top of that, the dude that was the GM of Mufasa chopped up LeBron. Chopped up Mufasa. Talking about this guy's the guy. And now they just sold all these tickets, created all that fanfare around the Pelicans, and they say this dude's knee is hurt. I just think it's a little bit different than those other dudes. Mm-hmm. A little bit different. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Well, one of the things, do you think that, understand, one of the things that made Zion dynamic is the fact that he's toting that weight and he's able to guys bounce off of him and he, like rubber. If he loses the weight, doesn't he become normal up top?
I don't know about that. I think he can still be strong.
Because his weight is an advantage. What you saying, the weight is an advantage?
Yes, absolutely.
I just think that it's conditioning. It's stress on your joints. We're talking about longevity here. A lot of these guys change their header. A lot of these guys change their bodies when they get the NBA. Penny guy had to get bigger. Yeah. Some guys got to get smaller. Yeah. Because, again, we're talking about longevity. It's longevity. He's still a skilled player. Think about this. LeBron, look at LeBron when he first got to the league and look at LeBron now. Two completely looking different dudes, man. Completely.
But at the same time, one of the things that made LeBron an honest offensive weapon was his ability to translate to the perimeter. He got bigger so that he got larger so that he can be able to defend the front court guys, and he got more skill. LeBron couldn't shoot a lick coming into the league. In comparison to the NBA level. So that's what I'm saying. Zion is not known for his 3-point accuracy. Remember, he went 12 for 13 last week in the preseason game, and all attempts were inside the paint.
That's like AAU.
If you lose that, what he has, which he must do it, I'm not saying, but
he can't lose all of it. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
He can't lose it all.
He can't lose all of it because that's
Jimmy,
what Huh? Say it again.
I was gonna tell you from the boom boom room because we haven't been there. Fob says Zion is the Larry Johnson of today. Once Larry hurt his knee, he was done.
But in Larry Johnson, that was 20 years ago. The technology is so much better now, Fob. He'll be all right. But I mean, unique situation. But I wanted to. Did y'all see what happened to Dion Waiters whining and crying on the bench?
What is going on?
And you talking about Jalen Ramsey?
Oh my God! I agree with you. But that's what I'm talking about, man. And in defense of Jalen Ramsey, I don't know him that well, Hatter.
Yeah.
Dion Waiters has always been a malcontent.
You're right.
He always
Right.
been a whiner. Since
You're right.
he's been at Syracuse, it has never changed. And what happens with players like that, the minute they start playing good, and they think they got you in the corner, you can't. That's the same thing I'm saying about good players. People got to understand in summer basketball and college basketball, I say this every single time I meet somebody, especially in high school. And if there's high school coaches on the boom boom room or anybody listening to the show, and Hatter and Jimmy, you guys respond to this.
Okay.
I've said this time and time again. The best player in amateur sports gets coached hardest the least. They let him slide. And then when he gets to college, when everybody's just as good as him, he's like, he can't handle it. Then when he gets to the pros, guess what? And everybody's as good as him, he can't handle it. Look what happened to that kid at Alabama. How did that defensive kid that was from New Jersey? The one that was a number 28 recruit in the country that quit.
He left.
That quit.
Yeah, he quit.
And when you get to Alabama, you got to watch that show. Alabama, they don't care. Those 5 stars, they don't care.
They go.
But I guarantee you, New Jersey, guess what they said? You look back at his history, guess what he did, Hatter? He transferred 3 or 4 times.
You know what?
People got to understand, man.
You know what's so unique thing about this thing? Tyler Hero have been playing good. The little boy Kendrick Nunn from Illinois went to Simeon High School in Chicago. He hit 40 points the other night. And instead of him celebrating that, he gets up on the bench and start talking crazy to Eric Spoelstra. But see, what you don't understand, man, Pat Riley don't play. Do you know James Johnson, the big old burly guy that played for the – he came to camp –
Told him stay his ass at home.
Yes, he came to camp overweight, and they don't – dude, homie, they don't play that down there, man.
And no, they shouldn't.
And guess what, Jimmy? The man going to lose $83,000 for missing that game.
Without something about taxes, right? How they said, and he still got to pay taxes on it or something like that.
Because why? It was a team imposed suspension instead of an NBA imposed. Yeah, it's a difference. Boy, taxes is something else, boy. The team tax
you got to tell me.
If the team tax you got to pay it. If the league tax you get a tax break. Unbelievable. But
now speaking of the NBA,
okay,
they also announced today that they will, and the timing I think is this was an easy call for them to do this based on at the heels of everything going on with the China Hong Kong unrest. Well, they're going to implement a zero tolerance policy against the fans for abusive or hateful behavior. Right?
Whoa. What do you mean by that? Please explain.
Well,
explain it to him,
I can explain. The NBA has to explain that, but I want to explain to you what the article for Yahoo Sports is saying
I
that.
want to hear that. Free speech, the free speech over here. I want to hear about this free
The
speech.
NBA is basically toughening up their code of conduct, right? And they met with some players over the summer, about a dozen or so players, and they always, which they do every year, and they asked what some of the top concerns are. This is kind of unofficial way to get some stuff done without waiting until the collective bargaining agreement comes up, because these are minor stuff. So how can we get better? And that's what normally in corporations you do that. You go to your employees and say, man, all the donuts hot up, or it's the coffee. What can we do? It's because this is about y'all.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of one of the things that came up was the concern and a lot of the heckling has gone below the belt. And remember now, when people start talking about your wives, people start talking about your kids, it affects certain people different ways because that's normally been taboo. But now this is easy go because so before the season start, the NBA is saying, well, guess what? I go and I read a quote from the NBA's announcement. We've added any sexist language or LGBTQ language.
Q, what's the Q?
The Q is for queer.
Queer.
Oh, Q. I was thinking K. My bad. Keep going.
Yeah. And any denigrating language in that way, anything that is non-basketball related, right? This is from Jerome Pickett. He's the executive vice president and the chief security officer of the NBA, right? He says, so your mother comments talking about your family, talking about test scores, anything non-basketball related, we've added that in as well as being something that we will go and pull a fan out of their seat.
So
investigate what happened.
Hold on.
So you can say, go on.
Before you get through, Chris, it's printed on the back of your ticket that you never look at. They make an announcement before the game that you never get there on time to hear. They tell you this before the game. So it's a freedom of speech. You always run your mouth about that. But it's freedom to shut your ass up too. Now back to you now, whatever you want to say.
So what I'm saying is, with that being said, two things I have on that. They said it has to be related to basketball, correct?
Yes.
Can they say you mother effing suck? You can't play work SHIT. It's related to basketball.
That's basketball.
So they can say that and they won't remove it from their seat. You playing like a B.
He ain't said
You
nothing
can
about
say
his
that.
mama.
That's basketball. That's
but you
happening.
said, but you said, but if you said,
they're gonna get mad about that too, Hatter. They're gonna be like, "What? What you saying?"
Coach, they say
They're
that
gonna
all
get
the
mad about
time.
that.
They say that all the time.
Man.
The
I don't
players
hear
don't
that
get
kind of
mad
stuff.
at that.
I don't hear that kind of stuff at the game.
Shh. I don't know
I
what
don't
games
hear
you've
that.
been to.
Now, let me ask you. Here's my second question. I got 2 parts.
Okay.
What about the China signs? The people saying they stand with Hong Kong. The free speech, Jimmy. Are they going to be allowed to carry those?
Well, that's not basketball related. That's why they worded it as such. If you pay attention, Chris, they worded it real tactfully. So they don't even have to mention China. They don't have to mention Hong Kong. They meaning the NBA in this ruling. They trust me, look at it. That they say non-basketball related. So yes, if you come in there with the sign, that means now that has nothing to do with basketball. That's a distraction. And that's a disruption because the people behind you can't see around that sign.
So what if you're crafty like some people are, and they say the NBA does not stand with Hong Kong, or the players or LeBron does not stand with Hong Kong? Like, what if they're crafty and trying to put a basketball into it?
But you are not talking about their play. You can say that you're not talking. You got to understand. I'm gonna tell you, all you fans who think Chris Walker, you're going to get your little behind in there and get put out. Because I want to say something bad, but I just love the
Why you going to say
so
it about me? I've been to the game with you.
Yeah.
I went to the game at U of H with you and your son, and you sat there like a church mouse and told me to get away from you.
I'm always
Jimmy,
quiet
told me to
when
go
he
sit
plays.
on the other side. Other side. Man,
Chris.
I had to say something because I
Chris.
really want you to come talk about
Chris.
the shirt you got on. And did y'all go to the clinic this weekend and what happened? That's why I want to segue into that.
Let me stop. I'm glad you said that, Chris. I did. Let me tell you something, y'all. I want to give a big thanks to the University of Houston basketball program and the head man over there, Kevin Sampson, and Bilal Badley. They put on, Jimmy, when I say a great, it's a lot of great things happened to me this weekend in basketball related. This one right here, I mean, unbelievable. Remember I told y'all they fed the coaches breakfast and lunch. And Chris, I learned some stuff. I don't want to get basketball technical, but that Kevin Sampson know what he's doing. And at the end, Chris, guess what he told the coaches? Do y'all have anything y'all want me to run through and run? If y'all didn't get it, My guys are still here. Show me something y'all didn't understand, and I'll do it. Shout out to Big E, came all the way from Dallas. And I'm watching, because I don't know all your coaches, so if I exclude you, I go by the guys I know. Stephen Woods there. The coach of Dickinson.
Stephen Woods needed, but keep going.
Okay. What's the hey, Jimmy, what's the coach's name at Dickinson? What's the coach's name at Dickinson?
Big boy. That's my boy.
Jason Wilson.
Jason Wilson, good dude.
He was that great guy. Let me tell you something, man. It was 120 some people registered, but man, it was a young lady came from Dallas. Houston area coaches, I'm going to do the Jimmy Hicks on y'all. Shame on y'all. Because you know why I said this? It's a guy, Stacey Houston keep calling me saying, Hatter, you know what? You should do a seminar for parents and players to understand this process about going from college to pro. And I said, Stacey, no.
They won't come.
They ain't gonna come. These folks think they know it all. Me and Jimmy sit in there in a meeting. Me and Jimmy sat at dinner at lunch with two parents. And I told Jimmy, after those two parents, we sat there and ate a great meal. I told Jimmy, I don't even want to represent them. They both think they knew it all. And now I go back and look at the predicaments their kids are in now. It's safe to say, Jimmy, they didn't know it all.
They never do.
Jimmy, I hope you know what I'm talking about. It's safe to say.
But Hatter and Jimmy, y'all got to understand why they do that. Uh-huh. The minute they talk to Robert Hatter, what's the Bible say? Once you know the truth, you're responsible for what? Doing the right thing. Right. The more they don't talk to you, the more they can stay in the wilderness.
Hey,
they don't want to know the truth because then they got to be held accountable.
Okay, but back to this camp, then we'll do. Let me finish giving these guys.
Yeah, go on.
When I tell you, I mean, everything was deep. Hey, coaches, I hate y'all wasn't there. Every coach, Jimmy, and I know, and maybe if Jimmy had to put it out there, maybe y'all would have win. But let me tell y'all something.
They hate him too, Chatter.
No. I don't think they hate Kevin Sampson. I'm just playing. I just don't think these guys are as serious about their craft. There's no way. Hey, what's his name? David Falks was he was a nemesis of mine. We competed against each other for clients, but he wrote a book, Friendly Persuasion, or The Art of a book he wrote. Guess what I did, Chris Walker? I went and bought and read the book. I wanted
you need to know what he did, what he was doing.
I wanted to know. So all the area coach, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know who Kevin Sampson? Jimmy,
they don't know, man. They don't know what they got right here in the city of Houston.
Unbelievable.
They worry about John Calipari and all these other people. Man, they don't realize who this dude is, man.
Unbelievable, man. When I tell you that's the best, I hate I didn't get there earlier. And Jimmy, he sent them through their whole practice. And Jimmy, when I walked in, Jimmy, he wasn't mic'd up. So I was wondering why he's not mic'd up. But he was in practice mode. Then he went and mic'd back up. When he was in practice mode, he took the mic off. But Chris, you might explain
But let me tell y'all something, man. Let me tell y'all something. This is what people don't understand. I tell every parent, if you really want to understand, forget about all that summer stuff. No, I don't want to disrespect your high school stuff, right? But if you really want to understand, take your kid to a real college practice and tell the coach and say, Coach, don't dumb it down, Coach. I want you to be yourself. Because that's what a coach should do, so you know what you're getting yourself into. Because Kelvin Sampson,
oh my God,
he gonna dig it. He gonna get that. He gonna be on top of you.
Chris, don't let me get in trouble.
Can't handle that.
Chris,
hold on.
Could you help me for not getting in trouble right now? Greg Wise and his staff was there. I saw the Toscasita staff was there. You know, I don't. Some of you guys I don't know as well, but I got the list of y'all. But The who came, it was okay, but I saw Kevin Allen was there. Even your boy Marcus Carroll was there. I mean, let me tell y'all something, man. People in Houston, I ain't see too many AAU guys. How in the hell Big E come all the way from Dallas with his whole staff? And nobody, I didn't see no AAU guys from Texas in there, and from Houston in there. Jimmy, that's your wheelhouse. I'm gonna throw that one back to you. But at the end of the thing, Kevin Sampson offset coaches. My practice is open to you every day. Come and use it.
Let me tell you something, man. If they ever let the University of Houston, hear me when I say this, into the Pac-12 or the Big 12, it's a wrap. They never will now. It's going to be hard for them to get in because the minute with those facilities that they have and with the city of Houston being as fertile as it is, and those kids can stay at home, you won't see kids going to Michigan. You won't see kids going to UCLA. That's what people don't understand. And Kevin Sampson is still getting it done. I don't want to besmirch the kids that are there now.
No.
They're not high-level top 10 guys.
Yeah.
But the minute that happens, that presents an option that is not there. They already got a top 10 coach. If they want to keep, they got Jamal Mark, who's one of the best players in the city. Period. That hasn't happened in a long time. Get me right or wrong.
He got something else over there too now. Hey y'all, I'm finna tell y'all something, and I said it, and Favre refuted what I said. That kid from the Woodlands is the truth, and I'm gonna go on record right now. I don't care about his heart and all that. But let me say what I saw about
what's his name?
Jimmy, you know
Quinn Grimes.
Q Grimes. Let me show you something that, and I'm gonna help people out just a little bit, parents. Parents, you can go to a great school, but it might not be the right school. What I saw in Quentin Grimes, he is an elite. Remember, I don't call this word. Jimmy, you never hear me call this word. He is an elite playmaker. Kansas had him stuck in a corner, waiting to shoot a three while everybody else made plays. He's not an elite three-point shooter from the corner, but he is an elite playmaker, and he just went to the wrong school. If he had went to somewhere, I bet you Kevin Sampson ain't gonna sit him in a corner waiting on no three, and if he miss it, he can't play no more. He's sorry. He need to go back to Houston. Heck no. I repeat this. You gotta hear me. He's an elite playmaker with this basketball. He know where everybody is on the floor, and he's 6'5", 6'6", big body. Let me tell y'all something. I like Quentin Grimes. I'm doubling down.
Here's my point, though. The Quentin Grimes, the Tremont Marks, like for instance, I'm not chopping up, and I don't know if they recruit him. Who's the big boy from that went to TCU?
That went there when?
Like
the guys that are leaving. I'm telling you, man. If all things are equal, that's why Georgia kids stay in Georgia. That's why Florida kids stay in Florida. Texas, they get their kids to stay in state, and then we got so many schools in our state. But Houston, think about it. Look at their facilities now. Look at the city they're in. We got pro sports. We got 95 million Papados, right? We got Jimmy's favorite Mexican restaurant, El Tiempo. If they put these guys in an elite league, if they go to the SEC, if they go to the Pac-12, or if they go to the Big 12, I'm telling you right now, fellas, it will be a wrap.
Chris, you let me back you up a little bit. You went and you said that's why Georgia kids stay in Georgia.
Because
there's only two major schools.
I get it. So but they don't leave.
Hold on. Their best player just left 3 years ago. Avery Johnson got him, didn't he? He bought
him. But listen, what I'm saying about him, he bought him. Well, what I'm saying, that's why he ain't there no more. What I'm saying is, but more importantly,
hey Jimmy,
he bought him. That's why they all go.
But Alabama is real close to there now. That's a neighboring state. That's like.
Yeah, but Avery Johnson still.
No, y'all missing my point.
Okay.
Y'all missing my point. I'm saying the University of Houston
got one
left out.
when he was up north.
I understand that. Y'all missing the point. The University of Houston got left out. Y'all gotta understand when they broke it up. Who's the old girl that used to be the mayor? I mean the governor of Texas. And what's her name?
And Hutchinson.
No. And oh my God, what's her name? With the silver hair and something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about when
they left Houston out. If Houston was a part, when remember they used to be the Big 8. The Big 8 became the Big 12. I'm telling you. So they got left out of the Big 12. You know why they left Houston out? It was smart to leave Houston out. I'm not even going to chop up Baylor because I love Scott Drew and everybody else. But give me answer this question for me, Hatter. Why would you leave Baylor, let Baylor go to the Big 12, and leave out the University of Houston?
That was easy.
And
Richardson.
That's
easy. That's easy.
I'm listening.
And Richardson,
Okay.
Chris.
And Richardson.
Okay.
Why? Why would you leave out? Why would you leave out Houston?
Let me explain this to you. That's great. I mean, I'm really going to. I'm going to take this question as though you really don't know the answer to that.
I'm listening.
So, when that conference at the time, football is first. The University of Houston did not have the seating that could accommodate the alumni at the time. Remember now, U of H had, I'm going to take you guys back. About 2 decades ago, the University of Houston played University of Texas in a football game at U of H. And you know what happened in that game? U of H had to add some temporary seating to accommodate the fans that were coming from Austin for the Longhorns. And they had malfunctions with those stands.
Come on, man. Don't push that narrative. They could have played in the Astrodome, or they could have played with
No. You're not playing in no neutral site in football at a campus.
What are you talking about? You can play in the Astrodome. If you want to be in the Big 12, you play the Astrodome.
You're going to play every game on the home. That ain't the issue.
You could have.
It ain't playing. If you want to be in the Big 12, I guarantee you, if those same people had to make a decision over again, they would have done it differently.
So you asked me the question, then you turn around and answer the question.
I did.
Hold on. Football was the reason. They did not have the accommodating seats. So then U of H went on a fundraising campaign to go and get a stadium approved that can go and expand their seating to the minimum requirements. They had a minimum based on the.
I get you, Jimmy.
So,
But
here's what happened. So U of H goes and build this new and get this stuff approved. Remember now, basketball is secondary always when it comes to the Big 12. It's football first. Now, not to mention the fact that our basketball arena was the most horrible. The University of Houston, in the city of Houston. That complex, the locker room. I'm talking about the locker rooms, and that was the most horrid of anything in Houston.
Jimmy, you're talking about 20 years ago.
No, I'm talking about 6 years ago.
Well, no, we're talking about when the Big 12 was formed.
They had an opportunity though, Chris. They had one movement at first, and they failed at that because they.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about then.
The Texas Board of Regents did not want to equal the playing field with University of Houston.
Thank you.
Now you would not be able to get the same players to leave this city and go there if you play the same conference.
That's my only point.
That's the
but
point.
That's for football reasons. It wasn't. They didn't give a damn about your baseball team. They didn't give a damn about
Jimmy, it will all spill over. I get you. Football is king, but it will all spill over to every other sport. And my point is, where did Baylor play football back then? They just built that brand new facility. Where did they back then? How nice and how big could that have been? My point is they left out Houston for a reason. If you went to the Board of Regents and say, look, y'all going to be left out of the Big 12 because anybody that was around as a Board of Regents back then that thought that being out of the Big 12 was going to be beneficial for the University of Houston, they've been chasing their tail ever since. And might I add, Kevin Sumlin, I forgot who came after Kevin Sumlin, right? Those guys have done a really good job of getting kids in Houston and still winning, right? And still winning. Who was the coach for Kevin Sumlin? Who was the guy who coached Andre Ware? They've done a good job because Texas is so fertile with football players. But you put the University of Houston in the Big 12, kids are going to A&M in Texas like they usually do.
They know that. That
was my whole point to you. That's why they won't do it.
I'm telling you, see, you understand something. The reason and the excuse, Chris, aren't the same all the time. That's the reason. The excuse they gave was about the bleachers and the football capacity and the minimum capacity. Those bleachers, some of those bleachers when they played University of Texas collapsed. If you're gonna look it up online, people got injured.
I got
So now
you.
you're talking about safety, health concern. That pushed them back about a decade.
You talking about Robinson Stadium? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, the old
Right.
Robinson Stadium. They
Right.
they put so now.
But Jimmy, it's funny that you say that because before Hatter, before they went to the Big 12, they was in the Southwest Conference. So it's okay for Texas to play in Robinson Stadium when they were in the Southwest Conference and all the other schools, but when they got to the Big 12, it wasn't okay for them to play in it? I don't get that. Explain that to me. I'll wait.
Well, that's simple because at that time in the Southwest Conference, Chris, the TV deals and the outside deals and the contracts wasn't the same. The money wasn't the same from the sponsors and from the outside entities. That wasn't in existence then at that time. Understand it? Just and although yes, they did, huh?
Jimmy, I'm not sure if having our own campus site is the criteria. I don't think.
No, I'm not saying it was the criteria.
Okay.
I'm saying that was an excuse that they used.
Excuse,
That's the thing.
I understand what he's saying. I get
That was
you.
an excuse that they used. That was the football capacity because they saying we're not going to come back there and you have to put up temporary bleachers again. And we just had people get hurt for 13,000 extra seats or whatever it was at the time.
Okay.
So now that means you got to go and get the architects in place, build a stadium. They tried to buy
So
time.
what was the excuse for Baylor to get in there? That's my thing, because Baylor stuff was terrible too.
Baylor had more seating than the Robinson Stadium. So Baylor may have met, they was okay. Baylor had
But Baylor also don't have a recruiting base, man. I'm telling you, I get what you're saying. The reason ain't an excuse.
Well, how
I'm
the hell
telling you,
did Tech get in then? They don't have a recruiting base.
I agree. They ain't a threat. Houston is a threat. That's my point to you. They're a threat.
Hey, you know what I'm finding out about Houston, y'all? Think about this, y'all. I did a little research for you, Jimmy. Houston, this sports week in Houston right now. Check what's going on in Houston. You know, Chris, right now. On Tuesday and Wednesday, you can go to see the World Series, right? On Thursday, you can go see the Rockets and the Greek Freak, okay? Milwaukee. Also, you can go to U of H is playing SMU at the big stadium. Then on Saturday, y'all, you can go see the Rockets and the Pelicans, minus Zion, though. And then on Sunday, Chris, you can come back and watch the Texans and the Raiders. And if you want to go to all of this, I did, Jimmy, I crunched some numbers for you, Jimmy. If you get the cheapest ticket, if you want to go to all of these events, if you get the cheapest ticket in each place, it'll cost you $781. You can get in every last one of them. If you get the cheapest tickets, $781 per person can get you in every last one of them events. I looked it up and researched it for you. How about that? How about
$81? That's the one. So that means you got to go solo.
I said, yeah.
You got to go solo.
No. Wait a minute. So you just gonna leave your girl out? I leave y'all.
You got to double down then. That means that's
I said for one.
Last time I checked, that's about $1,500.
Yeah. Hey, she worth it.
Hey.
But that's my guys.
Now you're gonna force me to take my flask in the game. So we ain't gonna buy nothing. I gotta take my flask in the game now.
Hey man. Hey Chris.
Hey guys, I'm glad you mentioned that, Hatter. That's my point. Is that Houston is a very attractive place. They do not and cannot afford, right? Think about it. Think about what I'm about to tell you guys right now. Think about the two schools they got left out, Jimmy. SMU. Where's SMU located? Dallas. Houston. Where's Houston located?
Houston.
They're the two schools that got left out. Think about that.
And they use
and guess who the other one is, Jimmy?
Same excuse.
Jimmy.
Them.
And guess who the other school is that got left out? TCU. DFW. They brought them back, but all those three schools got left out. It was by design, guys.
Okay. Okay.
He's
Okay,
by
sir.
design.
Okay, sir.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, but they had the same excuse that they applied to SMU as they did to U of H. Remember at the time, SMU had to play their games in the Cotton Bowl. They were playing off campus.
I know, but if SMU knew what was going to happen to them, I'm sure they knew, and they fought it, they would have played in the Cotton Bowl all day long. They would have fought. They would have played in the Cotton Bowl all day long.
Understand? Your millionaire fighting against 4 millionaires. Your billionaires fighting against.
Who you think got more millionaires, SMU or Texas Tech?
I'm just saying, but collectively, so you're thinking about one. You're combining all of them. That means combine Texas Tech with UT, with A&M at the time, combine all of them together.
Chris, you
got to understand that puff. You got to understand that puff fund too. That all money that Texas and Texas A&M gets every year.
Called
Exactly.
a puff fund.
And
PUFF.
Google the puff fund.
Understand.
Google the puff fund.
Yeah.
Google that. That's gonna blow your mind.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard that one.
And also, another thing to take in consideration, who was the president at the time when this movement was going on? That president has a building named for him and his mama.
SMU.
He got a street named after the daddy, a building named after the son, and another building named after the mama.
Hey, Corey just said on the Facebook feed, Rice got left out too. Another school in a city, and they got the big football stadium.
And Rice had the stadium, but the attendance. You follow me? There was a formula they used.
Hold up, you keep moving the goalposts on me now.
Chris, all that stuff was wrapped into one. The attendance was one. Was the stadium, the capacity, all that was wrapped in.
It sounds like conspiracy theory to me. About the teams that are from the cities. No?
Chris, of course they did it. They purposely did it, but you got to have an excuse to justify the numbers. That's like writing something off. That's what I'm trying to. You ought to understand that. You've been gone. But they had to have without getting sued, they had to have a reason. And that was part of the reason. What you got?
Teacher, this puff fund ain't no joke.
Oh, the puff fund is no joke, bro.
Tell them about the puff fund. Tell them about the puff fund.
I got a question, Chris. I got a question. We got some. Chris, do TSU get some of this puff?
No, they get the poop fund. They don't get the puff fund.
I can't stand that dude, man. Hey, Jimmy, speaking of TSU, Jimmy, guess what I got a chance to do this weekend? Jimmy, I went without you. I went in the daytime. That Prairie View, I don't know what they doing up there. What's the name of that highway, 290? Hey, man, Anthony Western, Alabama, whatever you call that school down there, Southern, all y'all. Man, if y'all homecoming can touch this Prairie View, dude, I don't even want to go to your homecoming. Prairie View is, and Jimmy, I had to ask a question. I asked one of the officials, when did this explosion happen? This hasn't always been like this. They said 3 years ago.
Yeah, they built a new stadium now.
That's it. So if you build it, they'll come.
If you're winning,
Man.
And if you win
it was Jimmy, I thought when me and you went, it was good. Jimmy, it was on steroids. Jimmy, they got a whole Houston. They had a whole Houston area. Well, all the Houston people were at. I said, I could have stayed in Houston and watched you Negro. I'm finna go back on the other side. I could have came to Houston and watched all y'all. It was unbelievable. Shout out to Prairie View. I saw Byron Smith, and I didn't see the football coach, but that's how you're supposed to do that's how you're supposed to schedule too. They beat somebody 50-something to nothing.
It was 0-5. 0-5.
But that's a good scheduling. That's good scheduling.
The homecoming opponent. You're gonna pay somebody. Go schedule your awful opponent. Nobody ain't coming to see the other opponent play. Amen. And that's the thing. So I've
been to Howard's, Jimmy.
Going on.
I've been to Howard's homecoming. I've been to Tennessee State a homecoming. Those are two homecomings that I remember really going to. Ain't nothing like this. The land that these people have and the ability to put RVs. When I tell you, it seemed like everybody in the world had an RV. No matter how, not all of them were big. They had some medium size them. Then they bring their little all-terrain vehicles and ride around. Jimmy, my thing next year, I'm bringing my golf cart. I got to have my golf cart to ride around that. That is so much. It's so vast. The land is. Hey man, Prairie View, man. Shout out to y'all. I don't care if you went to grad school, undergrad. Shout out to the people that make that thing possible. Great event, great clean event. A lot of kids was suffering from alcohol poisoning out there. Hey, y'all kids need to slow down a little bit out there. But other than that, Jimmy, you can give your comments. I love it.
Well, I got a chance to make it down there on Saturday evening.
Okay.
And I saw a lot of the old fellas down there, the Coach Glover and Rick Johnson. And shout out to my referee,
yes.
The whole referee crew from the Houston chapter.
Yeah.
Down there, they had a section with the live band. And let me tell you what I noticed. This year, they probably increased the amount of RVs probably by about 30 to 40% versus before.
Yes.
And it didn't rain this year.
Oh my goodness.
As opposed to it had rained on that week before we went 2 years ago. Talking about Prairie View A&M. I noticed that they strategically and tactfully, they meaning the administration, provided separate real estate that was not adjacent to each other for the Kappas, Omegas.
That's right.
The Omegas had the entire
area
state. They could have barked as loud as they wanted to.
Did. Sure
it
did.
would not have been heard at all.
Sure
they had
did.
a concert stage in between both of them.
That's right.
They had another concert stage for all the young folk.
Yep.
In the back, as they did. Where we saw our guy, Coach Ware, and all his crew and Big Doug. They go back there in the back where they're down there.
Yeah. I call that the jungle.
They back out and I had little Coach Kevin Woods from Duncanville come down. Had never been there before, and that's one of the things I felt so great about. It was the ability to get a young person who had never experienced a HBCU homecoming, well, specifically a Prairie View homecoming. And I didn't go to Prairie View, but many of my good acquaintances and associates and buddies from the old days and current buddies and friends, they went to Prairie View. So ain't no thing about that. And we want to whoop Prairie View ass every time we play them. I don't care if it's marbles. But guess what? A party is a party. And and I'm telling you something, Chris.
Chris, unbelievable.
The thing is, Prairie View is right now. They're on their 4th athletic director in a 3-year span.
Whoa, the young dude's gone?
Yeah.
Gone.
He went back
He's been gone.
He went back to Mississippi.
They got rid of the young dude.
No, he
went
left.
home. He's going to Jackson State.
He's going to Jackson.
Okay.
From Mississippi. Come on, Ashley.
Yeah,
Ashley is he took Jackson State last year.
Yeah.
That's where he's from.
Yeah.
So he went home. And I'm going to tell you, I understand Southern. I've never been to a Southern University homecoming.
Neither have I.
I've been to a Grambling homecoming.
Yeah.
Because my mother went to Grambling. I've been to several of them, even in my adult years, because Grambling messed around and played TSU one year for their homecoming. So I went up there for that game. That was about 10, 12, 15 years ago. Well, Prairie View has, as Hatter mentioned, the real estate. You guys got to understand, it's not in a city.
That's right.
It's in the country.
Right.
And Prairie View, Texas is only, you whip right through it. When I first got there, it's remarkable because you feel an anointing coming over your body when you first, if you're consciously and socially aware in tune.
Daniel Bland Boulevard.
Because the first street that you're going to turn off the freeway
Broke my heart.
is now named Sandra Bland Boulevard.
Jimmy, do you
And
know
they
what
have
she got?
memorial
Jimmy, do you know where she got picked? Because I wanted to ask somebody, where did she get stopped at on that street?
No, they got a memorial. It's marked off. You probably couldn't see it because all the cars and the traffic. It's a tree, and they have it marked off. It's a memorial.
Okay.
They have it. They have a little tree, and
Okay.
it's
Is it by the little park right there? There's a park right there. They said it's gonna be a new park. They had a sign that said this gonna be the Sandra Bland Park. I saw that little park right there.
And Anthony Favre, let me explain something to you. I understand that that Southern University, once again, I've never been there before, but you don't have the whole city of Baton Rouge. LSU runs Baton Rouge. Remember that. No matter how many games Southern will win, you would never be LSU in Baton Rouge. Prairie View is Prairie View in Prairie View. You know what I'm saying? They run the town. So unless you've been there, I'm not saying that for Southern isn't. That's the thing. That's the thing. We're so used to degrading one to lift another. We're not degrading no other homecoming.
No.
We're just letting you guys know that if I understand, you missed it.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, it goes for 3 days. Hard. They have live bands. They have all evening. You're gonna have a live concert. If you want hip hop, it's over there. If you want a art or neo soul, it's on this stage. They even had a trap music white tent that was on the right side. That played. They played all those everything, all of the Houston, Texas trap music. That little DJ now had that thing blowed up in the little tent.
Jimmy, did you pass by the Prospect Park tent? Prospect Park, bro. They had a pop-up out there. It was called a Hennessy party. Boy, you get a wristband, you get all the free Hennessy. Hey man, they had their own real estate, Jimmy. I ain't seen that. Prospect Park.
And Anthony Favre, I love you. You say you understand your daughter goes to PB. The question is, have you went to this year's Prairie View homecoming? Not 5.
Yeah, man.
You ain't gonna do with your daughter. Your daughter, if your daughter win, her fun is gonna be different from a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
If you did not go, just sit this one out. That's all. I'm telling you and we knew it was good. Once again, we went 2 years ago. It was great because that was, as Halle just mentioned, they built a new stadium, and that was a reason to invite all the alumni back. Come on back, guys, let's have a party. And Ashley was the AD at the time, and Ashley, I think his last name was Robinson.
He took care of it.
Ashley, he went and he helped. He got props for that, and it just blew up from then. I'm trying to get a total count, and I'm going to reach out. If anybody from Prairie View that are watching, can you give us, and that way we can explain to people, help paint a better picture. And Chris, I'm not, because I don't want to even guess how many RVs were present. They had because in order to bring your RV, you have to get approved. You have to get your paperwork in order so they can give you your spot.
Yes, sir.
So they have an
they got a count. Your spot.
I want to get the official tally from Prairie View A&M as to how many RVs, and then that way you guys can figure out and how many acres that it encompassed of all of the parking that was from that thing. Once that is done, then you guys will have a better picture and compare it to the next one or the next one. TSU could never ever be able to duplicate or even compare because they don't have real estate.
Landlocked.
They don't have the real estate.
Yeah. But Jimmy, you see what Latrice said? Latrice said Prairie View kids was tripping on Twitter telling their parents to stay at home. I don't blame them kids. Hey, I was feeling old out there. Jimmy, they would run up to me, hey, Uncle Robert, hey, Mr. Hatter, hey, Coach Hatter. But guess what, Jimmy? Them folks at Prairie View, they love that chop shop, boy. They love that chop shop, Chris. Boy, they were stopping me all over the place. People I was with talking about, man, is you the mayor? I said, no, the mayor is somebody else. I'm the mayor pro tem. I'm the mayor pro tem.
Hey, man, I know what y'all talked about. That boy Jalen Hurts, man. We got to get him on the Chop Shop, man.
Oh my
We got
goodness.
Jimmy, pull your strings. We got to get Jalen Hurts from Channelview High School
call.
on the Chop Shop.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They trying their best to give it to the LSU boy too. They trying their best.
Why would they not try their best to give
They
it?
trying their best.
Why would they not? I mean, that's expected. They're gonna just like you trying your best to give it to your kind. They
Yeah.
trying their best to give it to their kind.
Oh.
Well, I wasn't saying that. I
Yeah,
wasn't
you
saying
was.
that.
Yes, you
Why
was.
you not? Why would you not? It's Chop
No, he
Shop.
won't. Chris don't
No,
think
I
like
wasn't saying
that.
because
He's from Villanova.
Oh,
He's from Villanova.
no, stop. Let me see how to trip it right
I'm
now.
sorry. Jalen Hurts look like a little. He got a green screen on his face, so he.
Oh wow.
got a green and a dollar sign on his face. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh wow.
And absolutely, I know his father is coach. He's still a coach over at Channelview High School.
Yeah.
And
We need to get him on then. Can we get him on?
The better conversation would probably be with his dad.
Yes, I'd rather talk to his
His
dad.
dad would understand the chop shop and with different type of
Yeah.
sports talk show, and he'd be able to have a little bit more of a colorful conversation than the yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
Yeah. He kind of bland.
I can talk to
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. When Jalen Hurts, after he go and he signs his contract and he make it and he becomes a grown man, well, he becomes a no longer student athlete bound by the. Then I won't get with him because I don't want to get him in trouble. I'm gonna ask questions. And he probably gonna, and that ain't gonna be fun. His daddy, his pappy might answer these questions right now. Now we can get on about the Alabama and stuff, and Mike, you guys.
That boy, well, Tua got hurt, so it's got to be between him and the kid from LSU right now. They the front runners.
Now, when is Tua supposed to come back?
He said he'd be back by the LSU game. So I don't know, but in 2 or 3 games, it don't matter. He can't win the Heisman at this point. If he missed 2 or 3 weeks, it's over.
Oh yeah.
He can't win it.
Yeah, them dudes got too much momentum.
They got way too much momentum.
Alan, one of the last things I want to mention, I forgot to wrap up about the Prairie View homecoming, is that they're gonna have to find a better way. Let's show you how many people was out there.
What?
That the cell phone tower
Yeah.
was in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did not have. It was that many people
Yeah.
off of those towers.
You're right.
That was that the internet capacity
Yeah.
was.
It was terrible.
It was worse than going to the MI3 something.
Yeah. It was terrible. Yeah. You couldn't find your people.
But they didn't know. The cell phone companies didn't know. They did not anticipate this type of spike in attendance. And this is the thing. And if you got to tell, there had people that came up missing. I talked to somebody last night,
What?
a young man their parents had thought he was missing because his text message, they could not get in touch with him for over 4 hours. Thought he was missing. But the young man, they didn't know at the time.
You can call. The phones work.
No, in spots.
In spots.
spurts.
Okay. All right.
It was a constant buffering, and you might, like a lottery type buff, and you might get some action. You did not. You didn't know it though at the time. But anyway, that's the thing on that. But my point is, guys, if you get a chance, make sure to take these people to a HBCU homecoming. Trust me, Anthony Weston, that might be part of the cure. If you want some of these boys, the young people to go and start going to HBCUs, remember now, TSU tried it last week. They brought them about a dozen young kids on the campus for homecoming.
Great.
Bring them on the campus for homecoming.
Yes, sir.
That's all you got to do. And trust me, that ain't all, but I mean, talking about to get the needle moving. Get the needle moving, and then tell them to ask those other schools, those other schools, why they don't bring them on to their homecoming. It's a big.
Yeah, tripping.
But speaking of schools and hoops,
a
while ago,
what you got?
the AP has released their top 25 preseason teams. Oh Lord, have mercy.
No, where Memphis at? Just tell me where Memphis is. That's why he acting crazy.
I ain't saying
And then
that.
tell me where them Villanova Wildcats are after you tell me where Memphis is at.
Okay, you want to know?
Yeah.
Villanova's at number 10.
There we go. Top 10 always. That's how we do it.
And Memphis at number 14.
That's how we just started doing it.
There are only 2 teams from the state of Texas listed in the top 25, according to the Associated Press. That's the benchmark. That's the measuring stick of all polls. Is the AP poll. I guess is the oldest one. And Texas Tech is at number 3.
They lost to UTEP the other day in a scrimmage.
Yeah. How about Baylor is the only other team from Texas. They're number 16.
Okay. Coach Scott, Scott Drew, Jerome Tang, Brooks.
How about the most surprising team in the top 25? Guess who that would be?
What, man?
A team. Understand? Most of
Boom Boom Room people crazy, man. Boom Boom Room stupid, man.
They ain't no good.
They stupid. Hey, somebody. Who?
California. St. Mary's out of California
What?
is number 20. Number 20.
That makes sense. They always right.
Patty Mills
Yo.
is number 20. And of course, in
What
case
they say?
LSU is number 22, of course, number 1 is Michigan State. Number 2 is Kentucky. Number 3, Kansas. Number 4, Louisville, Florida, Maryland, and Gonzaga.
Same teams every year, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, man. Tell Clarence Harris stay off Villanova, man. He says Chris ain't said nothing about Villanova homecoming. Man, listen. If you want to come to a PWI homecoming, come on up to the main line, player. Telling you right now, best PWI homecoming in the country.
Y'all ain't got but 6,000 people, man.
Hey, man, we got the city of Philadelphia, man. Y'all tripping, man. Trying to tell you what time it is.
Thank you for putting that up there, Jimmy. You made me real proud there. You made me real proud.
Unbelievable.
I might live in Houston, but my blood is blue. But you know what, Jimmy? I was thinking about something, and I'm got Chris Walker on the phone because I had a unique. You remember I told you a lot of good stuff happened this weekend, basketball wise. I got a chance to go to a workout yesterday, right? Get to the workout. Get to the workout, Jimmy. No lights. The power out. Jimmy done went out. The power out at the workout, Chris. Okay? Power out. And it's dark in there. TJ Ford was conducting the workout, right?
Don't tell me he did it in the dark, Hatter. Come on, man. Don't tell me that.
Chris Walker. He told them dudes, man, come on in here, man. What I got to do with y'all right now, it don't require no light.
Oh, my goodness.
He had them. Listen, most people, and nothing against nobody else, most people, Robert Hatter, would have said, man, let's go find another gym. That man said, open the window, open the doors so we can get a little light in here, and let's go to work. And those kids went through one of the best. You know what I learned, Chris? There's a difference between skill development, and Chris, you can expound on this, and teaching the game of basketball. There's a lot of guys can do skill development, but they don't understand those gray areas of basketball. Chris, could you help? Chris, because I saw him tell.
They're learning from a guy who played in the league, man, who one of the best point guards. Matter of fact, two things I want to get out. Jimmy's doing his top 50 players of all time, and if I'm not in the top 5, I'm gonna pull a cord on the chop shop. That's number one. I said it. So you bet. And listen. And when Raouf Maouf, I don't know who that is. His name Chris Jackson to me. Like he said, my mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay. That's what I'm gonna say.
Jimmy, stop your ears up, Jimmy.
If he's still coming on tomorrow, his mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay. That's number one. Hatter, you got to have a conversation about the NBA talk the dads had that you told me about on
We're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to do that tomorrow.
We're going to do that tomorrow.
I want you to go look. Let me tell you something, Chris. That subject there requires a lot more time. Costs a subject in there. But I just you got to understand, Chris. I've been watching coaches and watching guys in workouts for years. I've never heard nobody use a pizza to describe the half court and where you attack from. TJ Ford told I bet you these young kids at school right now talking about a pizza. Chris, he sliced the pizza from the top of the key and sliced that down into the paint. So that's the area from that area. That's where you work at when you're from that area. Then he sliced the other two sides of the wings, sliced those into two pieces. He said, this is all that basketball is, kids, when you're attacking. And showing them how to attack between the elbows. And I'm sitting there saying, what? Talking about when you up here, don't go way over there. Because there's some players over there. Coach, I'm sitting there just even teaching the guards, Chris.
Oh.
Huh?
They didn't let you teach, did they? You
No,
said
no.
even teaching the guards.
I said
I was about to say, my goodness.
Go. When a guy like this come in a gym and get to doing what he doing,
Oh, you're a bad dude.
it was like, I'm telling y'all, it was like a virtuoso.
I gotta ask you a question. I gotta interrupt you. So, and I sat with TJ at the Pangos camp, and we had an in-depth conversation. Okay. And then Jimmy can chime in because I already know what Jimmy gonna say. TJ Ford said, "Then why is it that people don't want their kids to play with me? If they trying to get to the league, and I'm a guy who's come through Houston, I done won everything you can win in Houston, and I played in the NBA, and I went to school in Texas." Why won't you put your kid with me?
Coach, I don't think he said play with me, because he might have said that to you up there.
He said to me.
He never said play with me. He always talked about be able to come and get this knowledge and work out with it.
But I'm going to tell you why he said it, though. He says, it's one thing when I can teach you, right? I can teach you skill development, but I need you to play with me so I can tell you how to do certain things in the game. I can't do everything in skill development.
I got you.
So, Jimmy, why is that? Why is it when people want everybody chasing the league, you got to do it in our city? You got the Daniel Gibsons, the TJ Fords, who's the kid that played with TJ? I forget his name. Played at Willow Ridge. Daniel Ewing. I think he works with TJ Ford. Why is it that a parent would be like, nah, I'm cool on TJ and not put him with him, Jimmy, when they're trying to get to the NBA and he's done it at all phases?
Well, TJ Ford, understand, at the time, that's a great question you asked. Why wouldn't people let their kids play? But what happened with TJ when he came into the grassroots scene, TJ Ford also had basketball youth programs. And those programs were teams, and those teams were often competing for some of the same players. Well, even if they wasn't, the mere fact that you had a team made you the competition in the eyes of other grassroots programs. So TJ Ford was at a hindrance before he even know it, because even though his intentions and his heart to help all kids alike, and he attempted and did often worked out several kids who didn't play for him, as a Carson Edwards and a Kendrick Davis, and that it never suited up for him.
Right.
But the thing was, you were a threat, and if you are a threat, or if people deem you as the competition, then they are not going to support you openly and publicly to go, because otherwise you're going to lure away their prized possessions that they've invested their blood, sweat, and tears into. So that's one of the once again, that may not be the excuse that many people might want to use, but that's a reason for certain as to why a lot of people didn't flock and support him with their kids from around the city, the area.
Adam, guess who pulled up on the Chop Shop, right? Dwayne Rogers. Oh, my goodness.
What's up, legend?
Didn't Dwayne Rogers go to Cashmere, Jimmy?
Absolutely.
I didn't get it. And he one of the best high school players ever. I didn't get a chance to beat up on him, though. He was a little bit before me.
Come on, Chris, stop. That's not even the same category.
Hey, Chris.
Okay, is he on that top 50 list?
No,
he better be.
No, he didn't play.
Whoa. Oh, that's right. That's right.
But me and Dwayne had a conversation on Saturday about this very topic, and now I can't wait, because he went to naming some players and saying they should be on there, and certain players shouldn't be on there. And Dwayne, and it's going to be tasty. And that is it's going to be in the magazine, which is basically, I guess the equivalent of a basketball Bible for Houston area high school basketball. It will release on November the 16th during the season opener, which will be held at the Campbell Center.
Now, Jimmy, don't you be a prisoner of the moment, Jimmy. Don't you be a prisoner of the moment. Don't you fit what happened in 1988, from 1988, from 84 to 88.
Keith's Hanks.
Keith's Hanks, where'd he go to school again? I'll wait. Hold on.
They won state.
No, where'd he go to school again? Where'd he go to college? Okay, my bad. But listen, where'd he go to college? Where'd he go to college? Where'd he play?
This list is
I'm just curious.
It only includes what you did during your high school career.
And
not your middle school career.
And he had a good team. He had a better team. You said individual. You didn't say team. You said individual.
Oh,
That's what you said.
Keith's Hanks was the preseason player of the year. You're
right. He went to where? Where'd he go again? Tell Jody ought to get on his folks' Facebook feed. Where'd he go again? Come on, man. They don't even call it Sam Houston no more, Jimmy. I'm not Sam Houston. They call it what now?
It's Sam Houston because they nobody catch on the other game. Ricky Scott says, "Is this Houston only?" No, it's Greater Houston. We're actually including the Greater Houston area. And see, a lot of people nowadays, you notice how it changed. How you may know in the newspaper today, they will say Houston area.
Yes.
But back when we came through high school, that's where I get the term Greater Houston from.
Yeah.
The Houston Post and the Houston Chronicle, they identified it as Greater Houston. So I grew up with under the term Greater Houston. You made your all Greater Houston team. You didn't make the all city team.
Oh, stop it. That was the same thing. What are you talking about?
No, it wasn't. It was all Greater Houston included the areas outside of the city.
I was all Greater Houston and all city. What are you talking about?
I'm talking Chris, the label all Greater Houston is further than all city.
I got them both.
Lord have mercy.
I got them both.
Hey, y'all.
Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Listen, if I'm not in the top 10 or the top 5, we cut the chop the water, Jimmy Water on South Hall Street. It's gonna be a tornado gonna fall on one of them Range Rovers or one of them Rolls Royces over there. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, Chris Walker sent me some clippings of him in high school. And y'all, I didn't want to break the internet today, so I'm gonna I got to get a more powerful computer to help the resolution on these ancient, archaic documents he sent me. It's sort of like going to unlock the Da Vinci Code. You got
Hey, listen, and we know what Jimmy can't say. It was in baseball too. So Jimmy need to shut up over there. Shut up,
I'm gonna
Jimmy.
give you something as we get ready to end. Hal, I'm gonna let you. I'll look at the screen.
We gotta do the picks. We gotta do the picks, yo.
we gotta do the pick for the night. I'm picking up. It's my
Oh
pick.
wow, Jimmy! I can't believe Jimmy did that.
What did he do? What did he say?
That is not true. That is not true.
What happened? I missed it.
That is not true. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous.
What happened?
He was an original reclass.
That's ridiculous. Jimmy, that's a lie. Stop it. That's a lie.
I want you to add this up. That's
a lie.
Add this up, right?
It's all right.
Chris came out of high school in 1988.
Okay.
Right?
87.
1987.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Stop.
All right.
There you go.
Listen. Me and Chris, right, played Little League Baseball together on the same team. Right?
Uh-huh.
I come out of high school, 1986. Right?
Okay.
Chris came out in 87.
Okay.
Follow me. But Chris moved up, right? He was old enough for the next team up before I was.
No. See, that's what you missing.
No,
You misinterpreted. He was good enough, not old enough.
No, Chris.
I like that.
See, he misinterpreted. He was good enough to go to the upper room.
My point is,
I like that.
Chris came out of school a year behind me, but he was playing up. Listen, he was playing 13 and under while I was still playing. While I was 11 years old.
You was a little ruck back then, man. That's okay. I graduated at 17 years old. What you talking about?
Hey,
Better get it straight.
Chris.
So let me take that back. If he wasn't a reclass, he was the first definition of a money kid.
Oh my
Hey, all I like to know,
All
Chris,
American money kid.
hey,
What?
Chris, what
What's
you
that?
doing shooting 20 shots in
Yo,
a
we talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, I'm
We'll
sorry.
talk about that
I'm
tomorrow
sorry, man.
when you tell Chris Jackson that I outscored his ass.
You
And
sure
we'll
did.
talk about that
You
tomorrow.
sure did. You busted. You
Tomorrow
busted right in.
we're expecting the old Chris Jackson, my old Abdul Rauf is supposed to join us on tomorrow afternoon. We'll have details and hammer down the time, and that's going to be a great conversation on tomorrow, stemming on the again the aftermath of we're going to talk about the NBA and the old regime of the NBA versus this new regime. How would his career possibly have gone under Adam Silver's guidance or under the umbrella of an Adam Silver? And we're going to talk to them about that and a lot more. But first, before we land this plane, if you missed the top of the show, we released the results from Hatter and Chris went head-to-head with the NFL picks, and the score is 7-6, which means we need
How the hell Hatter got 7 right?
Monday night football game is worth 2 points tonight.
Oh, I like that. I like
Get
that.
on
It's
out
gotta
of
be
here,
Hatter. It's gotta be, or it's gonna be a tie. It's gotta be. If you either win by 2 or you lose by 1.
Okay. I still got my team though.
How did you
No. Who get the pick?
How
Me,
did you
it's my
pick?
first pick.
No. Hell no. We got to flip for that. What's the points?
Chris is
What's
my
the
first
points?
pick,
The
Chris.
points-
That's not fair.
9.5.
Chris,
9.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 9.5 points, Chris.
Man, they playing. Oh, I don't know, man.
Tom Brady.
That might work.
You
You
live in
got
New
it.
That might
York.
work.
I got Tom Brady.
That might work though.
Chris, I can't go against Gazelle. Gazelle?
Listen, here's the deal. I'll say this. The New York Jets played against the greatest franchise in sports last week and got the dub and got their confidence playing against the $5 billion superstar team that is the Cowboys that beat up on the E-Girls last night. So I'm going to say Sam Darnold just came back from his STD. He is ready to go. I'm just telling you. He ready to go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take them 9.5 points. There we go.
Hey, Jimmy.
In New York City at MetLife Field, the big green machine is ready to go.
Hey, Jimmy, before we go, Jimmy, one of my favorite names in sports right now, because he balling out of control. They used to hate. They said, why are you giving him a nickname? The porn star Jimmy. Jimmy G. Garoppolo his name is porn star Jimmy. He ain't lost. Jimmy, he undefeated, man.
Who they played? Who have they
I
played?
don't care.
Who have they played?
Better teams than Dallas has played.
Fool's gold. Fool's gold.
Better teams than Dallas has played.
Fool's gold, bro. Fool's gold.
But boy,
They better not
wrap
come
it
to the
up.
big screen with that.
Hey.
They better not. Listen, we made the San Francisco 49ers franchise when Everson Walls didn't catch that ball against Dwight. We made Dwight Clark. Well, not Dwight Clark, but we made that franchise. Period.
I got a quick announcement.
White
though,
Clark's
Chris.
name. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Quick announcement before we go, Jimmy. I want to, hey, y'all, brush up on and make sure your YouTube account is current, because we got to test this program on YouTube to see how it works. So we're gonna give y'all like a day or two in advance, one day, and we're gonna test the Chop Shop. It's only gonna be broadcast live on YouTube only one day, because we got to test the format, because we haven't tested it on YouTube yet before we do them simultaneously. So get your YouTube subscriptions and make sure, because you get the notification. But we're gonna give you we're gonna give you time to understand. I'm giving you heads up right now. One day you're gonna come on here and in Facebook, you will not be able to get us. You'll get it later. We'll post it on Facebook after the show. So I just want to let y'all know that, and let everybody know that we got how many people on there? A lot of people on there now, so you understand that. So Jimmy, what else you got?
I got 2 things. You guys check yourself. The Chop Shop feed. Want to remind you from earlier, somebody asked me, we talked about Baylor. Want to give us a correction on the Baylor football stadium. The capacity of that stadium, which was the old stadium, was the Floyd Casey Stadium. The capacity was 50,000 seats.
That's not-
Yes, it's small compared to the one they have now,
Yeah.
but 50,000 seats was almost double the amount of the Robinson Stadium that University of Houston had. So Baylor was not in the same capacity of U of H for its football seating capacity. So, and also the topic about HBCUs,
Yeah.
and I hope Anthony Favre is still watching, so you can take this to Southern or whoever that needs to know. We have according to the Prairie View A&M Sports Information Department, they've reached back out to me and gave me the total, the tally of the amount of of permits that was granted to the RVs. This doesn't mean everybody that was there. This means the amount of RVs that were accounted for this past weekend on Saturday at the Prairie View Homecoming. The number is approximately 800 RVs.
What?
That's what I'm trying to explain to some people that are stubborn out there, don't want to listen. And I'm telling you just how many, that's just the RVs. Can you imagine 800 RVs strategically parked in carnival fashion all over that land? And that's how many RVs, those are only the ones that got written permission to park in a certain slot. 800 RVs. Now I'm going to get tomorrow. I hope to have the amount of acres that area encompassed to you guys. And also don't forget Maul Abdul. You guys may have known him as Chris Jackson back in his LSU days when he went up against Chris Walker and
Calm down.
I think
Calm down.
Chris, they might have broke even. I'd say it like that. LSU won the game.
Ass Hatter.
It might have been a wash. It might have been a wash on that.
I'm with
Tyler, what's that link?
Chris. I'm with Chris.
No, you stand with Chris Walker. Tell him that.
Yeah. I'm with her. Oh, wait a minute. I'm with him.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, thank y'all. We're going to slide. What'd you say,
Good
Jimmy?
show today, man.
We're going to slide
Yeah, man,
down
it's
Dino's
not
back. Huh?
Say it again.
Well, we're going to slide down Dino's back and do what? Yabba dabba.
Absolutely, man. It's Monday, and of course, we're gonna leave you guys with a couple of commercials, and you watch them if you want. And don't forget, if you're a small business owner, you can take advantage of have your business located right there when it signs and says 800 RVs that you're watching on your screen. Or you can have one of your commercials run.
Mark your
Small
calendars
business
for
owners,
Saturday,
also
November the
managers,
16th at
you
the
can
MO Campbell
advertise your
Center
company
located
on the
in
Chop
Houston,
Shop.
Texas.
Take
That's
advantage
the
of
only
email
sports
today.
season
That's
opener. A day filled of high school boys basketball
chopshop@gmail.com.
starting at 9:30
Chopshop88@gmail.com. And guess what? It's time to slide down Dino's back, baby. Yabba dabba do the thing. Out of here, guys. On behalf of the hater, and the hat. Time to twist your thing backwards, baby.
What's up, basketball
Time to give me
fans?
some
Robin
juice,
Karen
some get loose juice in that cup. See you guys on the 22 hours. We're about here. Chop shop.
2K19, December 18th, here at the Toyota Center. The Battleground 2K19 will be one of college basketball's premier events of the season, featuring Big 12 powerhouse Baylor Bears as they take on the UT Martin Skyhawks. The defending Mountain West champions and preseason top 25 ranked Utah State Aggies will go head-to-head with the South Florida Bulls. And the Pac-12